Compton scattering is just conservation of momentum between two masses. I watched this video talking about quantum scattering, and I just don't understand why, like, everything points back to this. Every time someone says, well, how could it be particle and a wave? And the only thing they have to point to it being a wave is this double slit experiment is like the main thing that they point back to. It's like, well, let's talk about the double slit experiment. Everyone, why? Why is this such definitive proof? There's another explanation. So anyway, watching this video, but everything about the behavior is just conservation of momentum of two masses. So if you say that photons are particles that have mass, it all still works. It still works. You just have to not assume that the speed of light is the fastest anything can go, and that the speed of light is the speed of causality, which is another assumption that we've made that I don't understand why that is seen as a given definitive truth as well. Because how do we know nothing can go slightly faster than light? How can we differentiate that speed, really? What are you doing here? It just kind of baffles me, because it's like, oh, well, light can't have mass because light is moving at the speed of light, and so it can't have rest mass. And it's just the whole logic of it. Let's see if I have, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. So give me a second, I'll come back to that. But if you assume a photon is a particle with mass and its momentum is calculated from its energy, then it all still works and makes more sense. Getting momentum from the energy is flawed because of relativity. Relativity says there are two ways of looking at a system. Say someone riding past you on a bike, or the biker being stationary and you moving past the biker, right? And we say that doesn't work for light because there's no rest frame for light. There is no rest frame for me either. I'm always moving. You're always moving. You may be sitting still, but the Earth is spinning. The Earth's flying through space. The galaxy, the solar system's flying through the galaxy is flying through space. Like, even if you're out in space, you are still not at rest. There is no rest frame. There is no rest frame. So how can you say light can't have mass because it has no rest frame? We don't have a rest frame. That doesn't make any sense. Your argument is flawed. This logic doesn't work. And the problem with science is that ideas have been established, and now people are laughed at for believing something different. And those that don't understand assume there must be a good reason and trust those who have taken the time to learn, right? So as we have these established rules, light has no mass. The speed of light is the fastest anything can go. These have been defined rules, and everyone just takes it for granted because, well, someone knows better. I always hear like all these videos I'm talking about the greats. No one wants to question the greats, but if you don't question the greats, we can't progress. If we can't overturn wrong ideas because they're wrong, just because the greats came up with them, then what are we even doing? This is no longer science. This is religion. This is what are you doing? And so we say that light travels at the speed of light, which is the fastest we can go, and so it can't be seen to have a state of rest, so no mass. And I disagree. Everything, regardless of its speed, can have a rest mass, because the speed of light isn't the limit. It's the speed of causality. Light is close to, but isn't the speed of causality, because if it was the speed of causality, then there wouldn't be such thing as travel time for light. There is no such thing as a light year if There's no such thing as a light year for light if it can travel at the speed of causality. And I don't think that, like, it sounds like, oh no, that can't possibly be, but no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because it should, if it is traveling at the speed of causality, it should be instant. It should be instant. There should be no travel time. There can't be travel time. Anyway, continuing on. You can't say that light, you can't have your cake and eat it too, because you can't say that light can both experience and not experience time. Like it's commonly said. People are like, oh, light doesn't experience time. Meanwhile, it takes light years for something to travel. Right? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't experience time, but it does experience time. So which one is it? Which it can't be both. You know what I'm saying? Like, it cannot be both. It cannot not experience time, but also take time to get places. You understand how insane that sounds? Anyway. Right. So, everything with energy we can use has mass. No mass, no useful energy. No mass, no momentum. There isn't much else to say. The energy can't be fully in the momentum of something because momentum is relative. How would light interfere with itself if its energy is momentum, but they are traveling at the same speed? How does the same speed give different momentums to, give different speed to a massless object? And I don't want to hear the frequency BS, right? Because what causes that change? Why does one photon of light have a higher frequency? Because it has higher energy? Well, how does it... So then how do you decide which one has higher energy? Oh, well, you need the higher frequency. You can't... That doesn't work. You can't use that circular argument. And so a higher frequency implies more movement, right? Because there's more per seconds. More per seconds. That's what frequency is, per seconds. So if it has a higher frequency, it has more per seconds. It's moving faster. It has to move faster in order to create that, in order to have a smaller wavelength, to have a higher frequency. It has to. But they all travel at the same speed. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. And I'm not saying everything has to make perfect sense, but the logical arguments fall apart so quickly. How could it fall apart so quickly? We're just, how can we say, well, logic says this thing, but we're going to ignore logic because we like this idea? Who decided that that was right? Again, it all goes back to this double slit experiment. I just told you that there's more than one explanation. I just gave you the explanation. It's gravity. Gravity did it all. Who would have thought? Who would have thought gravity did it all? Higher frequency has faster speed. So I don't understand. Why am I the person that's realizing this? Why am I the first person to question this? Have other people questioned this and gotten shunned? Why are we shunning them? Did anyone actually try and test this? I don't understand. And I'm a little frustrated because it's like, what's going on here? Is this science or not? How many people are going to watch this video and ignore it? Because I don't have credibility. Because I'm not saying what they believe. Scientists take opinions and they put them through scrutiny. They test them. Prove me wrong. I've tried to prove myself wrong. I'd like to see you try. I'm very confident in my opinion right now. Light does not need to be a wave. It does not need this quantum superposition. There's uncertainty. I'm not going to say there's no uncertainty. We don't know exactly where every particle is going to be, but that's because there's so many factors at play. And we don't see this quantum weirdness in a human body, we don't quantum tunnel through a wall because the amount of energy it would take for me to get thrown through a wall is too high compared to that of a single particle. And honestly, I'm not even sure if quantum tunneling is what we think it is either, but I haven't worked on that. I haven't come up with a better explanation. But you no longer need this weird quantum physics, quantum mechanics is so complicated and weird and confusing and all this stuff, because as soon as you get rid of this wave duality, particle wave duality, which literally the only reason why we need the wave part is because of this double slit experiment. From my understanding, everything else is proven to look more like a particle. It baffles me. It baffles me how much evidence is pointing towards it just being a particle, and how hard we're holding on to this wave idea. And I don't understand. I don't understand. Anyway, I got a little riled up again, but peace out.